Welcome to the Gentleman Ultra YouTube channel. And we are here. And it's the first effort, should we say? Is that right, Chris? First of all, how are you doing? And secondly, what are we doing here?
That is a great question, and I was hoping you had the answer. But how am I doing? Yeah, all right, not bad. Yeah, I'm a little bit. The weather's turned. It's very cold, and I'm a little bit under the weather as a result.
Well,
But
that's not.
we don't let that stop us. I was at the embassy last night at the Italian embassy last night for a screening of This Is Palermo with Copper 90, and I'm on a plane Friday morning to Genoa. So we kick on through.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to discuss both of those because it's really interesting topics, obviously, of how you ended up at the Italian embassy. And let's hope you've not
I'm still not sure, to
disrupted
be honest with you.
disrupted any diplomatic relations in
That's
the
it. Yeah.
process. But also, as well, Genoa, a club with massive history, steeped in history. It's massively important. We've talked about it on the website before, but, going back to James Richardson Spenceley, to William Garbett, to all of the different pioneers, really, I suppose, of the game of Calcio, really, and that take on it. So that's going to be a really interesting one as well. But for all the people, we're going to try and do this fairly regularly. And we're not quite sure of the format, if we're honest, but we're going to take it as it goes. There's obviously a
All the
lot that
people watching can develop with us and
yeah,
evolve with us.
send ideas. That's it, exactly. Because we obviously have got very similar mindsets and coming together here to try and look at what we can do to give you good Italian football content. And that depends on what people want, I suppose, as well, isn't it?
Yeah, my experience with the internet, rich people will let you know exactly what they think of it in the comments. So I'm
That's
sure
pretty.
we'll get very quick and very specific feedback on what we're doing.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think from our side, we've talked about this off air in the sense of, you know, when I'm 45 years old now and I look at history and go, it's Bremer, Mateus, Klinsmann, it's the Maradonas of this world, the Van Bastens, the Hullets. But I'm thinking, if I look at myself at, even at 20 years old, or 10 years old, and then you start looking at, so let's say 10 years old and I fell in love with Italian football. If I look 35 years back from there, do people really want to hear about that? It's one of those things now, history's changed. And one of the shocks I've had, when we started this, the Gentleman Ultra, for instance, a lot of it's about the history of Italian football. And that's great because it does go back to Pro Vercelli and beyond. It's like Genoa, of course. But the situation is history now 2020?
It's funny
Is that
because the
really
name,
the
the
case?
names you were mentioning there, I'm a little bit younger. So when I think of the history of Italian football, I'm thinking of George Weah and Ronaldo and Baggio, etc. And when you speak to people now, especially people on the internet, because they're a lot younger than we are, they're probably thinking of Kaká and Shevchenko and that Milan team of the mid noughties and stuff. So I don't like to talk about Milan after the weekend, but we can. But yeah, history moves on a bit, doesn't it? It's what was relevant to us once is now ancient to other people.
It is massively, and I think that it's sort of redefining that. So I'd be really interested. I suppose that's the first question for anyone who's watching this: is what's their experience of Italian football history? What's their first games, their first moments, and different areas there? Because as we say, it's that feedback that gets it. Because there is an importance. We can't do a Premier League situation and say that Italian football started in 1992, of course, when James Richardson came onto the scene. There's a lot more before it than that. And stories like the at Genoa, like the stories of Pro Vercelli or the teams of the past, the Bolognas and Torinos, etc., are important as well as part of that rich tapestry that is Italian football. But again, it's good to embrace the new and also as well the culture as well, because as you say, you're visiting Genoa. Yeah, I know you visit a lot, as I have done during the past. I think you're a little up on me this season. I think I'm going for 3 to 4 games. I think you'll outdo me this year, but
I think I'm already on about 5.
there you go. You've already done it. You see.
The problem is I've got a really packed schedule until sort of the middle of February, and I've sort of chosen the worst time to choose such a packed schedule because I've got Genoa and Torino in the run up to Christmas, and then we're in Palermo, Como, Milan, back to Milan again. I've got something else in there. I'm sure I booked another flight recently. Yeah, I just the worst time of year to be spending all this money, if I'm honest with you.
Is it? Well, I don't know. I was all very much similar to yourself, and then I think obviously with children at the moment, it's with one child even. Never mind that. It's It's been a bit more difficult at the moment, and also I don't get away with it as well because, as you know, my work schedule means that I'm constantly on planes and just unfortunately not always to Italy. But the good news is I'll be back out. Well, for me, I'll be back out in Milan a couple of times, and there's also a few different ones on the cards that I'm looking at as well. And then hopefully, there's going to be a situation where part of my work does take me to Bologna and Florence. So that's the key for me now is to, I'm actually, the dangerous thing about Italian football is I'm now, and hopefully no one from my work listens to this, I'm dangerously pushing business towards there.
A
Just for the
friend of
sake
mine who will remain nameless has gone to see a client in Madrid this week,
of
and he's an Inter fan. And funnily enough, we're trying to wrap this up just very quickly because this evening at 8 o'clock, Atletico Madrid are playing Inter. So he's somehow managed to coincide his business trip with an Inter match. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, why not as well? Why not as well? Talking about the travel then, we'll talk about January 2nd, but I'm really interested because we've had a long-standing sort of on-off relationship with Copper 90. We're part of their collective a long time ago, a group, a business that does exceptional work when they're talking about Italian football. So talk to me about the embassy. Talk to me about Palermo.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to because it came from nowhere, as these things often do. You know, because I started my page just back in August, bit of background, started back sort of July, August, just after I came back from the Club World Cup. And I just thought I'd start a page talking about it. And, you know, somehow now, 4 months on, I'm on 14,000 followers and it's gone a bit psycho. So it's been a bit crazy. I got a message the other day from Copper 90 saying, hey, we're having this event. I don't know if you've seen our video. This is Palermo. I'd only seen the trailer, to be honest with you, because I'm 37. I'm not one of these that sits down and watches YouTube like my daughter does. So I'd seen the trailer, but I thought, okay, well, if I'm going, I'll check it out. And it is magnificent. But yeah, they invited me. They're having a premiere at the Italian embassy. It was not quite in the embassy building. It was in their cultural space, which is like a couple of streets along. But it was on Belgrave Square in London. It's very nice. I was told there was a free bar, and there was, which was fantastic. There was also free cannoli, which was even better. But yeah, they reached out and said, look, do you want to come down and view the documentary? We'd love to have you and some other creators there, a chance to do a bit of networking. So yeah, they let me go up there. We were allowed to do a bit of filming while we were there. So, you know, head to the Calcio blog to check that out. It's not my finest video, I've got to be honest with you, because I had about 14% battery when I got on the train, doing it on the train, and I didn't have my headphones. So everyone was listening to, like, you know, when you're editing the video and it keeps
Yeah.
going back to the same point and it's the same sentence. So, but yeah, no, look, we went to the event. It was absolutely fantastic. The guys from Copper 90 were there. A lot of other Italian football creators there, which was great. Got to meet a few of them, not just English ones as well. There was a Swedish guy I had a long chat with. And there was a lot of people walking around in nice suits with Palermo badges on, and it turns out that the president and some of his board members were also in attendance. So it's a very brief handshake and how are you with the president of Palermo. But he was ushered around everywhere. I didn't really get it. It was like being at a reception for the Queen or something, that I guess. We didn't really get much of a chance to say anything to him. But I was speaking to some of the other guys from the board, trying to drop a few hints that I'm going over there in January to watch the Palermo game against Spezia. I don't really think they landed. Was trying to, I sort of probably made a mistake because he asked about tickets and where did I want to be in the ground, and he said, "Do you want to be in the curve or do you want to be in like the nice seats?" And I was just rather foolish and went, "Oh, we want to be in the curve, yeah." And I think I might have been getting an invite to some sort of hospitality that I've
Well,
turned down.
I've got to admit, since working for Inter, I'm a sellout. I was always on the curve. I would have always taken that for years and years and years. When you, especially once you've seen the Campari bar, it's
Mm,
no going back. So I love
yeah.
it still is, but you got to milk it while you can with that one. Interestingly enough, if it is against Spezia, I've got a few things going on with Spezia at the moment, so maybe that was my other one that I might be out at. Not the Palermo game, but going out to Spezia. So that's watch this space at the moment. But
I
yeah, I
should
think
say, sorry, just before we move on from talking about the Palermo thing, I haven't actually mentioned the documentary. We sat there and watched it. It's only 18 minutes long, so it won't take up a lot of your time. It is fantastic. It is really, really well done. Some great shots of the city and of the stadium and the curve and stuff. And yeah, the people they talk to, they love that club and they've really captured that in the documentary. So go and watch it on YouTube now.
they
After
do.
this video,
Yeah, of course.
don't stop us midway through.
Fantastic work, and they have done for a long time. I mean, the one they did at Brescia was good, at Bergamo, all the way back to the original ones at the Rome Derby and the Milan derbies and stuff. You know, I mean, that's going back some time, and they always pull it out the bag. So no, that's a good shout out to Copper 90. But moving on, I mean, before anything else now, your next game, you will be flying off to Genoa, I believe on Friday.
I'm on the CAM on
Yeah.
Friday morning from Stansted. And I've got, again, hope no one from my work listens, but we've got a rather big sales meeting tomorrow, which is ending at the pub. So normally I'll be the last one there, but I'm going to have to make some sort of excuse because my alarm for Friday morning is 3 a.m.
Yeah, that's
I have booked it as annual leave, so I'm not skiving. I am supposed to be off, but yeah, I'm going to need to somehow get to bed about 8 o'clock tomorrow night. So but hopefully I manage that. Yeah, 3 a.m. alarm, but that's what you do. It's not a problem when you're going away for a trip like that, is it? It's when
it's
the
not.
3 a.m. alarm for work is a killer, but when you're getting up and going on a plane, going away for a few days is great. So yeah, we're out there Friday, so we land there. I think we arrive about 11 a.m. time. You take in the time difference and stuff. Full day of filming and stuff round Genoa. I don't have the sort of access to Copper 90 get yet. So mine is all just sort of guerrilla filming around the streets and stuff. So if you're in Genoa and you're listening to this and you see me and another guy that looks exactly like me pointing the camera at me, come and say hello. You'll be most welcome. But yeah, there's a lot I want to cover. I've been sort of any spare 5 minutes to do a bit of research about the football team, the cricket team that it once was, the English connections, but not just about the club, about the city itself as well, and the mark that England and the British have left on that city. So I was just found out today about the one of Europe's largest cemeteries up on the hill above the city has got an entire British cemetery in it. It's got Commonwealth war graves, but it's got a lot of the original founding members of Genoa. The Brits are buried there. Obviously, not going to be filming in the cemetery, but we're going to go up there and have a look around and certainly pay our respects. It's going to be a full-on day to Friday. My friend was trying to suggest we move some of it to Saturday morning, but I did point out Saturday's match day and match day is beers day. We want to leave as much time for checking out the local pubs for research purposes, of course.
Research purposes only, of course.
So again, if anyone's listening that's a member of the Genoa Ultras, reach out, hit me up, and we'll stop by. Promise no cameras.
No, that'll be a fantastic one. And like you say, I mean, yeah, have to obviously you're going to document that, and that'll be available on all channels when you get back. If you could, but it is a rich history. You know, we've said before. You know, the story of William Garbett in particular is a absolutely fascinating one. You know, his story throughout the war periods and how
Yeah, the
he
way he was
was
treated by the fascists and stuff. Yeah,
exactly,
crazy. Yeah,
exactly. It was an incredible story. James Richard Spenceley, the whole original board. There's a great in the museum. You can see the signatures of everyone way back when. And like you say, like so many places, whether in Argentina, whether over in in Genoa, there's so much of that English, I suppose, empire really influence of how it was, especially like you say, the dockyards of Genoa. So it'd be a real fascinating one. That and just a quick one on the team itself. I mean, that for me, I would say that it's a derby, the Derby della Lanterna I've not actually been to, but
no,
I would say if you look,
we'll see one for a while. To be honest with you.
yeah, we won't know very it's true unless the Coppa Italia throws something up. But I think that derby in its time is probably one of the most underrated derbies in Italy. And secondly, like you say, if that actually did occur again after such a long time, that would be definitely one on the list. The first
Yeah,
one.
but you have
That
to do what you can to get a ticket, wouldn't you, for it? Because they'd be in short supply.
Yeah, I think so. One of the things that I think we were wanting to do as well is, like you say, to be a bit sort of interactive. I think that whereas normally in the past, and I had a great conversation with today with actually, I'm not telling you this, but actually with Mark Gordon, who's obviously
Yes, yeah, yeah.
a good man at Gentleman Ultra, and we were talking about the facts of how sites evolve and everything else, and how much stuff's changed in 10 years. I mean, you're saying in 4 months that you're sort of like meteoric rise into what you've done, which is totally warranted. But I remember like you were having a conversation 10 years ago. I was getting snubbed for not being a official journalist,
Yeah, there's no such thing now, is there?
and now it's like I'm like part of the furniture and I'm outdated almost. You know what I mean? It's so crazy the way the world changes and everything else. So we're thinking about this and thinking, why not have a website? It's a bit interactive in the sense of, like you said, Dan, tell us what you want. Obviously we're based about doing the ultras, travel, new things that are out, like the documentary with Palermo, etc. You said, giving advice, guys, the ultras, the history, nostalgia. There's lots of places like you can find out what the score was last week or yesterday or what is. There's lots of people with bigger budgets than us that do that. And that's great. But there's also, you can see that's data at the end of the day. The analysis, yes, it can be there as well. But realistically, people who I think you do travel and go out, or just or maybe have always wanted to. It's good to give that idea of what it's like because I think with Italian football, even now, and again, go back to my original point, I hark on about Italia '90. It's a long gone era.
I was only 2 years old then. Really.
That's mad.
World Cup '98 is the one I remember the first time. Yeah.
So old. I'm so old. But yeah, it was. But it is that idea of saying, keeping it interactive and what people want to see because, you know, people who want to go out, it might be the fact of how many games can we take in. It might be you're not a huge lover of Italian football, but again, at the moment we've got the podcast with Feder out at the moment. We've got your own brilliant side. We've got the Gentleman Ultra. We've got this sort of combination of things going on, haven't we? And it's sort of taking shape at the moment, but
Yeah.
not.
I think part of the problem we're having as well, aren't we, is because there's so much going on, there's so much we can do that we almost aren't doing enough of it because
Yeah,
we don't know where to
that's
start.
true.
So, everyone can tell us what they want us to do first and it will be done.
Yeah,
There's a lot
absolutely.
of plates spinning and we only want to concentrate on a few. We need to be told what they are, really, don't we?
Yeah, massively. And it's a bit different that way because it'd be more entertaining for us because we can bring ideas, but like you said, for us it might be completely different to what people want. So it's kind of interesting doing it this way. It's a bit of a new concept, but I mean, obviously we've got some ideas. The Anglo-Italian Cup, of course, being for one, that could be a really
Yeah.
interesting.
I've got so that's something else I've got when I get back from Genoa. I've got calls booked in all the start of next week on this great Riverside app. If Riverside want to pay for a plug, yeah, with look, the official club historian from Port Vale, same with Notts County and same with Swindon Town, all previous winners of the cup. I've already spoke to a few ex-players as well, so I'm putting together something quite special for that, and I just need to learn a little bit about how to do video editing and stuff because yeah, that's slightly just a bit younger than me. So all the people that have all these great channels where they do all this really slick video editing are probably just about 5 to 6 years younger than me. So it's yeah.
So if there are any video editors out there who want to help
Yeah, we
out,
can't pay,
as part of
but
a
you
new
will get a
project,
credit. Yeah.
we are recruiting. No, it is interesting. I think it'll be a laugh with this because at the end of the day, that's certainly something we want to do with it. Is just have a bit of fun with it. We've got to be a bit more. We're trying to get a bit more consistent on. We're on obviously on Twitter, on the Blue Sky, on YouTube. The podcast is there on Spotify and Apple. Yeah, so we are knocking around everywhere. So it's it's certainly something.
You
We've got
can't really
Fedder's
turn around without
Ultra
seeing us, can
updates.
you?
We've got different series coming out, and we've got a really good bunch of people with us as well. So it's and as well, if there are any aspiring journalists out there who love Italian football, you've got our details. You can hit us up on Twitter, either of us, and of course, let us know
Yep.
because it's something
I
we'd love
read
to.
all of my DM requests on Instagram. So, yeah, I know some people don't because there's a few that I've messaged that I know have read it and haven't replied, but I read and respond to everything. So, yeah, if at the very least, just drop me a message.
Yeah, definitely, because it's one of those things where it will evolve, and yeah, and obviously we'll try and document. And between us, we'll try and document a lot of the trips and a lot of the places that we go to. Because, as I said, I'm sort of because of my work with Inter at the moment, sort of pigeonholed to Milan a little bit. So I will be relying on the likes of yourself when you're doing the trips to like Genoa, etc. Yeah, because all you'll see from me is either Como or Inter at the moment. So
Well,
for the time being.
yeah, I hate to break it to you, but then I think the last 3 trips I booked up are all Inter matches. So,
Oh, well,
sorry.
there we go. We can see it from all angles then.
I always try and do a multi-game weekend, so I'll end up somewhere in Milan watching a Serie C or D game. So, we'll cover that.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, there's a few interesting ones. Like I said, for myself, outside of the Intercomo sort of bracket, like I said, Fiorentina, Bologna are definitely there, and also as well, as I said, Spezia might be on the cards. And then randomly, I've not even told you this yet. I'm planning on doing I'm not going to bore people with this, but this sort of like Alpine run, quite into my fitness and stuff. And
If you're going to tell me Sud Tirol, we're going to fall out because it's bang on my Sud Tirol.
that's it.
And if you're going there without
That's
me,
the. Yeah, well, we'll come along, come along. You can
yeah,
watch me
I
fail
won't.
miserably in September in a race
I
where I
won't be
get
running
smashed by
anyway. Yeah,
a.
I'll fly in and fly out.
But Citadel in September is definitely on the list because for
A
some
hundred.
reason I don't know why. See, you're the same. It just like fascinates me. Just the whole the
I just always assumed it was like an Austrian team or something whenever I saw the name anywhere. I thought, "Oh, it must look
Yeah,
like Austrian
yeah,
or German." But no, they're Italian. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, all in. I've had a look at the stadium. It looks beautiful.
yeah,
Bolzano, where they're based, looks
yes,
magnificent in the Dolomites. Dolomita, I don't know.
yeah.
My Italian lessons aren't going great, but they're, yeah, just a great area. I mean, there's very few bad areas in Italy, isn't there? It's a beautiful
Exactly. That's
country.
what makes it so fantastic to watch football in that sort of environment as well. And so one of the things with that, with the whole Citadel, is that it's, by the way, just talking about football shirts, that's a whole other thing we're going to talk about. I know
I've
that
noticed the one you're wearing, yeah.
yeah, so many people in our sort of group are just obsessed with it, but I'm trying to find a Citadel shirt. So yeah,
That's it. We'll just take our brains somewhere. Yeah, yeah. I think next time we'll have a few beers first as well, and then we'll see where it takes us. But one of the other
get down.
trips I'm sort of half planning at the moment with a friend of mine, Francesco, who is another Inter fan based in London. He's a member of the Inter club there, but he's originally from Cosenza, and he's still got family down there. So as soon as I said, look, I'd quite like to go to Cosenza because of anyone who's read Ultra by Tobias Jones will know
Yes.
about Padre Fidele. So I was like, I'm quite curious. I want to get down to Cosenza. And he immediately was like, well, we're doing a trip there and we're doing a week and all my family's going to pick you up. You're going to stay with us. And so I think that will be done about April, May. It sounds like I need a week off work for that one, but we're, yeah, a trip around the south starting in Cosenza is certainly on the cards as well.
And talking about that, because we've not been to every single ground. I mean, I know we'd hope to get around as many as possible, and I know between the two of us, we've probably done a heck of a lot.
I can check on
But
Footballogy.
just really quick, I think that if someone's done something really crazy, like I don't know, as places I've always wanted to see, like, I've randomly wanted to watch a game in Ascoli. If someone's been there, for instance, hit us up and tell us your story. That would be cool to see. It would be good to see. So we're gonna have to wrap this up though.
Yeah,
First
Inter's
of
on. We've
many,
got
first of
2 minutes, yeah.
many. Because, and just before I let you go, and people who are watching this will already know this, but it's Inter, away at Atleti. I'm
Yeah.
not allowed to make a prediction because I'll get in trouble.
I'll make it for you. I'm probably not even going to bother watching the second half. I've got sleep to get.
Well, I've just realised I'm saying I can't do that. I've just come on with the Fiorentina shirt on, so it doesn't really matter. So yeah, it's
So we
not doing
can't
me
put this
too.
out anywhere now, no.
So excellent stuff. Okay, well then we will reconvene very, very soon. And from us now, it's ciao for now.